Picture this. You're cruising at 37,000 feet, halfway through your flight, when suddenly, a massive explosion shakes the entire plane. This isn't a movie scene. This was the terrifying reality for the 296 souls aboard United Airlines Flight 232 on July 19, 1989. What happened next is one of the most incredible stories of survival and leadership in aviation history. The explosion wasn't just a loud noise. It was the tail-mounted engine disintegrating, sending shrapnel tearing through the aircraft's tail section, and in that one catastrophic moment, it severed all three of the plane's hydraulic lines. Imagine trying to drive a car with no steering wheel, no brakes, and no accelerator pedal. That's essentially what the pilots were facing. All the normal controls, the ailerons for banking, the elevators for climbing and descending, the rudder for turning, were completely useless. The plane, a massive DC-10, was now a nearly uncontrollable projectile, lurching and rolling violently through the sky. In the cockpit, Captain Haynes, a veteran pilot with over 29,000 flight hours, faced a crisis that no pilot is ever truly trained for. In a situation where panic would be the most human reaction, Haynes did something remarkable. He stayed calm. He looked at his first officer, William records, and his flight engineer, Dudley Dvorak, and knew that giving up was not an option. He realized that their only hope, however slim, was to work together. By pure chance, another DC-10 training captain, Dennis Fitch, was a passenger on the flight. When he heard about the trouble, he made his way to the cockpit and offered his help. Haynes, showing incredible humility, immediately welcomed him. He didn't let ego get in the way. He knew they needed every bit of brain power and experience they could get. This decision would prove to be life-saving. Together, the four men began a desperate, unprecedented experiment. They discovered that by varying the thrust of the two remaining wing-mounted engines, they could make crude, sluggish turns. Pushing the left engine harder would make the plane bank to the right, and vice versa. It was like trying to steer a battleship with a pair of canoe paddles. For over 40 agonizing minutes, they fought to regain some semblance of control. Wrestling the wounded giant toward the nearest airport in Sioux City, Iowa, on the ground, air traffic controller Kevin Bachman guided them with a steady voice, clearing a path and preparing emergency crews for the worst. In the cabin, the flight attendants, led by Jan Brown, prepared passengers for a crash landing. Their professionalism, a beacon of calm in a sea of fear. They instructed everyone on brace positions and moved passengers to safer parts of the plane, actions that undoubtedly saved many lives. As they approached Sioux City, the crew's final challenge was to get the plane down. With no way to control their descent, speed, or flare for a gentle touchdown, they knew it would be a hard impact. The plane came in too fast and too steep. As it hit the runway, the right wingtip struck the ground first, cartwheeling the aircraft into a massive, fiery series of somersaults before it broke apart and skidded to a stop in a cornfield. From the wreckage, a miracle emerged. While tragically 112 people lost their lives, an astounding 184 survived. First responders were stunned to see people, including Captain Haynes and his crew, walking away from the twisted, burning metal. How is this possible? Investigators later recreated the scenario in simulators. Dozens of highly experienced pilots tried to replicate the emergency landing. Not a single one of them succeeded. Every simulation ended in a total loss of control and a crash that would have been unsurvivable. What made the difference on that day? It was Haynes' leadership, his refusal to panic, his immediate decision to embrace teamwork, and his humble acceptance of help turned a hopeless situation into one of the most celebrated examples of crew resource management. Haynes never called himself a hero. He always insisted, "You're crediting the wrong people. It was a team effort. We were just the ones in the cockpit." But his actions that day became a lesson taught to pilots and leaders around the world. The story of Flight 232 is a powerful reminder that when crisis strikes, the calmest heads, the strongest teams, and the most humble hearts are the ones that save lives. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. See you next time.